Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be continuing into part 5 of What If Bardock and King Vegeta Were Brothers. If you haven't seen part 4, there's a title card, we can go check it out and see what happened in the last part. But today we'll be continuing where we left off in Dragon Ball Super. Well, Bardock joined the group in training on Beerus' planet. How much stronger can the brothers get? What would be the next threat that they face? If y'all are interested, I own a Discord server for anyone who wants to join and talk more about Dragon Ball with me and other viewers. Maybe give us some of your own ideas of what ifs, and maybe in the future, I could do them. For today's question of the video, it comes from SMSFF7. I got a question for you. Which couple do you think are the best parents in all of Dragon Ball? In my opinion, I think it would be Krillin and Android 18. An easy, close second place is Gohan and Videl, but here's my reasoning. So first off, Goku and Chi-Chi and Bulma and Vegeta, I think they're kind of in the same playing field, mainly with allowing their kids to be endangered with fighting, threats. Gohan and Videl are kinda in the same boat, only that Pan was kidnapped during the entire, Dragon Ball superhero movie, and now she was allowed to go out in space and adventure in Dragon Ball GT. But when it came to Marin with her parents, she lived a normal life and never really had to face down any serious threats or get into any danger, as they never really got into any trouble. And when they did in GT, when Super Android 17 or Android 17 went to go attack them, they defended their daughter with their own lives and not having her fight any threat. So in my opinion, I think they are the best parents, mainly because their kid kind of just has a normal life. They never really had to face any threats or fight anyone. So that is my answer to the question. So thank you so much for your question. If you want your comment to be featured in the next video, just comment down a question you would like for me to answer, and maybe you'll get lucky enough for your comment to be featured in the next video. Without further ado, let's dive into part 5 of What If Bardock and King Vegeta Were Brothers. Where we last left off, the Saiyans were invited to Beerus' planet to train to grow stronger. However, with Bardock, he wouldn't know if he would want to go with the rest, as he still wanted to give up on training, but with what his brother told him, he decided that he would go. With everyone training on Beerus' planet, they would actually never be interrupted by Frieza, as he would never be revived, since the Frieza force would be completely taken down because of King Vegeta and the Saiyans, as they liberated any Frieza planet they came across and killed any remaining Frieza soldiers they spotted. So, the events of the Resurrection F movie would never happen, leaving the group remaining on Beerus' planet to continue their training. All the Saiyans that were on Beerus' planet achieved the Super Saiyan Blue form, besides Broly, as he didn't really need nor wanted the Super Saiyan God transformations, as he focused more on training to control his anger and his already massive power, as he was able to transform into a Super Saiyan without going berserk. With how many Saiyans were on the planet, their gains were much more massive. Bardock was still the strongest, as he's managed to perfect the Super Saiyan Blue form since he had the form for years already compared to the others, while King Vegeta would have perfected the form if he didn't have to take turns with Vegeta on switching over from Beerus' planet to Planet Vegeta. After a few months of them training on Beerus' planet, the arrival of Champa and Vados would occur, as Beerus and his brother would still have their rivalry spout to see who has the better universe. But Goku would still suggest to do the tournament as normal, as each universe would have to pick 5 fighters. Now for Universe 7, their team would be rather different, with having Bardock as their first obvious choice, with also Goku and Raditz joining the team. Now they needed 2 more, as Beerus really wanted King Vegeta, but when it came to King Vegeta and his son, they both couldn't be away, so only one could participate in the tournament. Since King Vegeta did fight Beerus earlier, he allowed his son to be in this tournament, while he stayed, as he thought it would be a good experience for Vegeta. All they needed was one more person. Beerus wanted Broly since he was very powerful, but he was also not fully stable, and Broly himself thought it wouldn't be a good idea for him to join. So Gohan participated, as he would decide to join the tournament. With this new Universe 7 team, they would head over to the arena, to their shock to learn that Universe 6 had Saiyans as well, as Bardock would learn everything he can about those different Saiyans from another universe. And he would be glad that they were safe and sound in Universe 6, as they never had to fight for their freedom like how Bardock had to do when he and the other Saiyans rebelled against Frieza's rule. Once the Universe 7 Saiyan team spots the rest of the team of Universe 6, they would get very upset seeing Frost, as he did remind them heavily of Frieza. Besides Gohan and Goku, as they never met Frieza in this timeline. When Bardock learned that Frost was considered to be a good guy in Universe 6, he didn't believe it for 1 second. So as Raditz and Vegeta did as well. Now for the lineup of Universe 7, it would go as Goku, Bardock, Vegeta, Raditz, and Gohan. The first match would be Goku versus Botamo, as Goku would be able to take out Botamo rather easily, like he did in the normal timeline, ending the match very quickly. Moving on to round 2 would be Goku versus Frost. Going up against Frost, Goku would still be nice to Frost, as this time around Goku actually never met Frieza and only heard stories about him from his father. But he didn't let that cloud his judgment with Frost. But the kindness Goku showed made his brother, father, and cousin very angry as they tried to tell him not to trust Frost. That fight would go on, but Goku would not make Frost transform, as he doesn't know that he can transform in this timeline. Since he is much stronger in this timeline as well, he would also actually beat Frost rather easily without ever getting stabbed. Even if Frost did try to stab Goku with his hidden needle, he wouldn't be able to, as Goku would be much faster than Frost. Moving on to the third match, it would be against Auto Vegeta. Now Goku would struggle a bit, as nothing he would throw at him would hurt him until he would slip out a mean comment, which would hurt Vegeta's feelings. And that is when he figures out his weakness and would exploit it, shouting more mean comments to win the match, even if he did not like that way of winning the match. Moving on to a more interesting match, it would be Goku facing Cabba, as Goku was looking forward to this match, wanting to go against a Saiyan from another universe to see how strong they are. Goku would learn about the other Saiyans from Universe 6 and would be surprised to learn that Cabba cannot transform into a Super Saiyan. He would be a bit disappointed that these other Saiyans aren't as strong as the Saiyans in Universe 7, so Goku would talk to Cabba, telling him everything that happened to the Saiyans from Universe 7, as it would shock Cabba on how the entire race of Saiyans from Universe 7 are so powerful. Goku would also train Cabba like how Vegeta did in the normal timeline. However, Goku would take the more patient route and be able to teach Cabba the Super Saiyan transformation as their fight would actually begin. Goku would be impressed with Cabba with how fast he would grow, but once Goku transforms into the Super Saiyan 2 form, he would knock out Cabba out really easily, leaving the last fighter from Universe 6 as it would be Hit. Champa would be yelling at Hit to win the match, as he is currently very upset on how his team was almost completely beaten by one fighter. Now Goku would be a bit taken aback once he saw Hit's fighting pose, as he would think that he isn't a strong foe. Note, this Goku was somewhat pampered his whole life, as he never really fought a threat alone before, so he lost a lot of experience in fighting, and he never really faced someone much stronger than him, so he would also be a bit cocky as well. But he would soon see how wrong he is, as he would try to strike Hit in his base form, but would be attacked without seeing Hit moving. Everyone would be shocked to see Goku being hurt without his opponent even moving an inch. Goku would power up to a Super Saiyan Blue form to fight Hit seriously, as Hit would use his time skip ability again to attack Goku. But this time around, Goku would actually be able to see Hit move around, but still won't be fast enough to dodge the attack. Goku is stronger this time around, but without Kaioken to boost his power further, he will not be able to push his limits to break through the time skip, since he never learned the Kaioken in this what if scenario. Even being stronger, Goku would not be able to beat Hit and eventually would be taken down, as he wouldn't be able to beat him with just his strength. Next person up would be Bardock, as he was paying attention the entire fight and would come down to the conclusion that Hit can stop time to attack. Goku also tells his father that to not hold back, as the stronger he is, then he would be able to break through this time skip. So, when the match begins, Bardock would power up to his strongest form, revealing a new transformation. Since Bardock perfected the Super Saiyan Blue so early on, and with all the training partners he had, he would achieve a new level of power, the Super Saiyan Blue evolution form. This power coming from Bardock is so intense that everyone is shocked to sense it. Even Beerus and Champa were surprised by Bardock. Bardock would charge at Hit ready to face him, and once Hit would activate the time skip, Bardock would be able to break through the time skip and be able to attack Hit. Bardock being much stronger than anyone else by a large margin, with this new form of power, he would easily be able to beat Hit, since Hit's time skip won't work on Bardock, and Bardock would win the tournament for Universe 7. Beerus would still use the Super Dragon Balls to restore his brother's own Earth, and that is when Zeno would appear, scaring both gods of destructions. Goku, still being the friendly person he is, would still go up to Zeno as usual until his father would smack him across the head to pull him away from Zeno. But Goku would still get off the idea of a tournament with every universe to Zeno. Once Zeno warned the gods of destructions, he would leave and everyone would return back to their universe, and most of the Saiyans would return back to training. When King Vegeta saw what his brother achieved, he trained even harder to try to catch up to him, as they trained together every day. We fast forward a few months, as in the Sun family house, a time machine appears as two grown-up versions of Goten and Trunks comes out of a time machine, passing out as Chi-Chi and Guinea grew worried instantly, recognizing the two hybrid Saiyans. As in our timeline, Goten and Trunks arrived as they were training to see their older versions of themselves. Bulma would contact Whis to bring everyone back to Earth, as when they did arrive, Bardock was shocked to see that the future timeline is still endangered. Future Goten and Trunks would tell Bardock what had happened, as they almost couldn't believe it. In the future timeline, after taking care of Broly, things started feeling normal as there wasn't a threat looming over them anymore. Bardock and Gohan continued their training as they were the only protectors left. Trunks and Goten trained from time to time, but their families wanted them to have somewhat of a normal life, so they cut down on the training. Bardock and Gohan would actually venture out in space in search of his brother and the remaining Saiyans, since future Bardock knew his brother is still alive. They left the protection of Earth to both Goten and Trunks, as they believed they could deal with it and they didn't think anything bad would happen when they were gone. But they were wrong. Babidi arrived on Earth to release Buu. Together they would end up facing the Dabura, which even with the combined force, together was a challenge for them, as they never did heavily trained, as the two of them barely did and barely had any control of Super Saiyan 2. Eventually the Supreme Kai would arrive to assist the two in fighting Dabura. Even though it was a tough battle, with all three of them they would manage to kill both Dabura and Babidi before Buu was freed. But sadly, the death of the Supreme Kai would still happen. Goten and Trunks would have blamed themselves, as if they continued their training then they would have been strong enough to save the Supreme Kai. They would destroy Buu's egg and continue training until Bardock and Gohan returned without finding the other Saiyans, as they told them what happened and their true training began. Things were looking normal for a short while until one day in a city a huge explosion erupted, as Bardock and Gohan went over to take a look, and who they saw shocked them, especially Bardock. It was himself, but clothed differently, and next to him was Zamasu. A fight would soon break out as Bardock would fight against himself while Gohan faced Zamasu. However, they would be having trouble as Zamasu is immortal and could wear out Gohan, while Bardock Black was slowly growing stronger and stronger, getting used to the Saiyan body. But Bardock is much stronger since he does have his God Ki, currently meaning that Bardock Black and Zamasu would fuse much earlier on to become fused Zamasu, and once they fused they became too powerful. Even with both Bardock and Gohan in their Super Saiyan God forms, it was not enough. Goten and Trunks would try to aid them in this fight, but it wouldn't be enough, as Bardock would demand them to take the time machine to go get help from the past timeline, and this is where we are right now. Bardock instantly wanted to go to the past as he didn't want to waste any time, but he was not going alone, as King Vegeta wanted to go with him to help his brother. Future Goten and Trunks would teach them how to use the time machine, as they wanted to stay to grow stronger in the meantime. Bardock and King Vegeta would arrive in the future to see future Gohan knocked out in the ground and fuse Zamasu beating on future Bardock, ready to kill him, until both Bardock and King Vegeta attacked Fuse Zamasu together, powering up into their respective strongest form. At the start the brothers were dealing with Fuse Zamasu rather very easily, then they started to underestimate this opponent, but slowly throughout time Fuse Zamasu was growing stronger and stronger. Fuse Zamasu would also tell Bardock how he stole his body and what happened in that timeline. Once Zamasu had his body, he killed off his entire family, and imagining that in another time his family was killed all by him, Bardock grew enraged, having to think about his loved ones being killed by his own body. Powering up, attacking Fuse Zamasu with every ounce of power he had. Bardock shot a full power attack right at Zamasu as he was about to get hit, but he would manage to dodge the attack as Bardock wasn't fully focused as Zamasu began beating on Bardock. More time went on as Bardock and King Vegeta were growing tired, noticing that Fuse Zamasu was not growing tired at all. The longer they fought, Fuse Zamasu was just growing as the Bardock Black half of the fusion was growing stronger, getting used to the body. They were about to rush at Zamasu, but future Bardock would stop them, saying that they might have a plan to stop Zamasu, but they would need to hold off Zamasu for a while he returns back to the past. Bardock and King Vegeta remained holding off Zamasu, but they were already pretty exhausted. Future Bardock would return to the past to the disliking of Beerus, as he didn't like the mortals that were messing with time. But Bardock would explain to Beerus about what happened, describing what Zamasu looked like, and this gave both Beerus and Whis thinking about a potential Kai from another universe, as then they would leave to go deal with a potential issue. With future Bardock's idea, he would quickly head over to the lookout as he would meet with this timeline's Kami, as he wanted to learn how to perform the evil containment wave as he began training to learn the technique. It would take a few hours until he perfected the technique, as then both future Goten and Trunks came out of the time chamber, both in their newest transformation. Future Goten in his Super Saiyan Blue form, while future Trunks in his Super Saiyan God form. Like the opposite of their grandfathers, future Goten focused on getting as strong as possible, working on the Super Saiyan Blue form, while future Trunks focused on perfecting the Super Saiyan God form. Future Bardock was impressed to see how much stronger the two has gotten, as the two quickly outgrew himself and future Gohan. With all three of them returning back to the future timeline, as we see both Bardock and King Vegeta barely standing in their base form as they have almost no energy left to fight back. Fuse Zamasu was ready to end them both until both future Goten and Trunks protected them. Future Bardock brought some senzu beans with them as he gave them to Future Gohan, the present timeline Bardock, and King Vegeta. Future Bardock told all of them to hold off Fusamasu while he prepared the evil containment wave. All 5 of them began fighting Fusamasu as they were overpowering him since they have the advantage in numbers. He was taking heavy damage and was growing angry with being beaten by mere mortals, as he was starting to deform, going into the appearance of his half-purple body. With the combined forces of all 5 of the fighters, they actually managed to stun Fusamasu long enough that Future Bardock was able to hit him with the evil containment wave, and would be able to seal him as he isn't like someone else who would forget the cover to keep him sealed. Future Bardock would thank his past self and brother for helping them as they wouldn't have been able to stop this foe without them. Bardock would ask for the container as he knows a way to keep Fusamasu from coming back completely. Future Bardock would return Bardock and King Vegeta back to their timeline as Beerus and Reese returned from their travels. The Guardian Angel went to look over in Universe 10 watching Zamasu, and once they saw the attempt of him trying to assassinate Goasu and would end up erasing him to prevent this timeline Zamasu from activating the Zero Mortal plan. Bardock would hand over the container that kept Fusamasu as Beerus would grab it using his destruction energy to erase Fusamasu, as well so he would never be able to come back. Future Bardock would thank Beerus as well, but Beerus just demanded him to return to his timeline and he doesn't like how mortals were messing with time, but he was glad that he did return to save this timeline as it did result in this Bardock achieving the Super Saiyan God form very early. After dealing with Fusamasu, everyone would continue on with their training on Beerus' planet until Beerus and Whis would get a call to a meeting with the other gods of destruction and angels about a certain announcement. And that's really all for now. Tell me how you think about the 5th part and how I did with the continuation of Dragon Ball Super. With the Tournament of Power coming up next, what are your predictions for this version's team of the Universe 7? Will anyone achieve the Ultra Instinct technique before, or do they even need it to win this tournament? Could they win the Tournament Power with how strong everyone currently is? What could have happened differently? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. If you are interested and enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post another part. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next part. See ya!